are mine now. You belong to me. Today we're going to play a new fun game.
Hello and welcome to the Twin Peaks podcast. My name is Dan.
My name is Nicole.
And this is a movie-based podcast where we talk about two films based on a theme. This time we're talking about multiple films. It's not just two. We've got like nine
films.
We've got 9. Are we?
God.
I'm not going to name them now. They're shorts. They're short films. Well, if you listened last week, you'll know what they were, but we'll get to that section later. After that, we're going to pick our theme and our films for the next episode. And this time it's my choice, and I've got a choice in mind, and we've got our picks ready to go. The last section is Stitch Up. Back to me this time. You lost last week, but obviously this time it's back to me because there's no way you're ever going to lose 2 on a bounce. I had to watch.
I have lost 2 on a bounce. What are you talking about?
Not for 500 years.
Whatever, mate.
I had to watch Bride and Prejudice, mate. So you're not my favourite person right now, to be honest with you.
I can't wait to hear your review on this.
You suck. But before we get to the last section, we sort of talk about anything we want, and I've got a few things to say. Nothing major. Maybe we'll just burn through a couple of pressing items. I mean, I did a bit of moaning last week, so I'm not gonna go to town on the moaning this week. But I will say that I think I'm starting to get a little bit of cabin fever, mate. I'm starting to get.
Tell me about it, dude. Fuck
Isn't
me.
I mean, I've said this many times before, right? I'm not the most sociable of creatures. I like my own space. I like to be in my own apartment. Apartment? Fucking hell, you got me Australianised.
Apartment, your flat.
Yeah, my flat. I like being in my flat on my own, doing my own thing. But, you know, we're coming up on, 6 months now? And I'm sort of starting to look out the window and like, oh, humans and world. And I'm sort of starting to get a little bit twitchy, mate, to be honest with you. So I went on YouTube and I put on a 4K virtual forest, and it was just someone traveling through a forest, and it was very relaxing. It was very nice and very nice, soothing music. But I did get a little bit of anxiety because, you know, they have those adverts on YouTube. They just pop up, and sometimes I don't know, they seem to be at different frequencies as well. And every now and again, I come across a video where, say it's an hour long, but there'll be an advert like every 2.5 minutes. And this forest thing was meant to be relaxing me, but every bloody 2.5-3 minutes, I had Martin Scorsese popping up, like, oh, this is how you do directing. Or Helen Mirren popped up. She's like, this is how you act.
I'm surprised it's not that one with they've got that exercise ball in your mouth. Have you seen that ad?
No. Exercise ball in your mouth for exercising your mouth.
Yeah, it's like it's the funniest thing, dude. Yeah, I wonder if I've got the link for it. It's supposed to like tighten up your face, and it looks so wrong.
Oh, your jawline. All right. Well,
Weird.
That's your birthday sorted.
What are you talking about? You saying my jawline's shit?
No, I'm just saying that you've just expressed your interest. I took that as a hint.
Shiwi, mate. Give me a shiwi.
Yeah, we've already established this. Yeah, shiwi. But yeah, so it was getting a bit twitchy and decided to put on some landscapey stuff because, you know, outside world, trees and life and environment. It just, I miss it. What can I say? But it helped. It helped a bit.
But you go for runs, no?
Yeah, I go for runs in my hometown. I mean, you get sort of sick of seeing the same old faces every day because it's always the same people that run as well. So like every day going out, it's very nice. I mean, I love the camaraderie because you sort of run past each other, and you're not going to see this because it's a podcast, but you give each other a little wink, you know, as you go past, a little nod, a little like a little nod to say, oh yes, I too am a runner. I too am running. we are running in opposite directions, but yet in many ways we are the same. Well done. Movie Drone. I went on Movie Drone. That was good.
I quite enjoyed that episode.
I got in some hot water because when I came on, Dennis and Mick, what they said to me was...
Dennis and Mick? What?
They put me on the wall of shame, so I'm not going to use their real names.
Okay. Oh, now I get you.
So Yeah, so when I got onto recording, obviously I came on for the American Psycho bit, so I hadn't heard any of the first half of the show or the first part. And they'd sort of said, we've got a little surprise for you, Dan. So I sort of, when the episode came out, I was sitting there waiting with bated breath and listening. What's this surprise then? And yeah, they put me on a fucking wall of shame. So I'll ask them a question. I mean, after we've recorded this, I'm going to sit down and come up with something, but I really don't know what I'm going to ask them. I don't know whether I'm going to do something serious or something a bit silly. I was thinking maybe like top 5 movie goatee beards. I don't know. I'll think of something, I'm sure. But yeah, I haven't got much time to come up with something, to be honest with you.
I was going for a walk yesterday. I went for a walk with Mum, and I had my glasses off, and then I wasn't taking notice too much of where I was walking, and I looked next to me, and there was a crow, and I absolutely fucking shit myself. Me and birds and chickens and stuff. I'm like kind of scared. I'm weirdly scared of them.
Was he all right though? He didn't attack you or anything, did it?
No. He just flew away. I guess because, we're all social distancing. Closest thing that has been around me recently.
You should report him.
Yeah.
I assume it's a male crow.
I didn't take his license number.
Did you get a good? Yeah, but you could maybe draw him. Get like one of those.
I didn't have my glasses
police.
on, mate.
Oh, of course you didn't. Oh God. It was the perfect crime. You see, your glasses were off, and he was like, "Right, I'm going to swoop in now."
Yeah.
Genius.
Bastard.
World's cleverest crow. You been watching anything?
Oh, have I been watching anything?
Should I go and make cup tea?
Yeah, put a tea on.
Right.
Maybe come back in like 20 minutes.
Right.
I watched a heap of shorts this week. Comedy wise, there was one called Right Place, Wrong Tim.
Yeah.
Shabo Goy. I put it on my Instagram story yesterday.
Oh, that one.
During Shabbat, you're not supposed to switch on anything. You're not allowed to touch switches. And by accidentally, this girl's vibrator just goes off. So she goes into the streets to find someone who's non-Jewish to switch it off for her. I was laughing too much at this short, I have to say.
I must say, there seems to be a bit of a running theme with some of your shorts. I watched a couple of your other ones last week, which we'll get to.
Some drama shorts. The Last Request was quite good. I watched my short film that I made. Bad Decision. Yeah, remember we watched that together. How embarrassing!
I listen. I think I may have been in the top 5 most drunk that I've ever been, but I do remember watching that short film.
Yeah, so I watched my short. I watched another short called Lily Meets Charlie, and then I watched a few romances which were quite funny, and I would recommend them to you. No, they're not those type of romances. They're like Crazy Stupid Love.
Yeah.
On par with that.
I always forget about it. Well, that's the one romantic comedy that I can stomach.
Yeah. So they were Reception, Garfield, Long Branch, Offline Dating, and that's all my romantic ones. And I watched your horror one that you recommended last week.
Did you?
Absolutely scared the shit out of myself. What I've done with all of our shorts, I've made a blog post on my website. So anyone that's listening in, if you want to see what shorts we've watched, I've put all the links on there, so make life easier for everyone. I'll put the links on my Instagram next week as well. And I clicked. I was like, oh yeah, I'll watch one of your shorts, and I just fast forwarded it to the part where he just jumps behind her in the room, and I shit myself completely.
Good. Well, I guess that's what they were intended.
Oh, it was good though. I enjoyed it.
Yeah, it's all right.
It's really simple.
Yeah,
it's not bad. I mean, I watched so many more shorts, but I'm not gonna say all of them. Movie wise, I watched Swallow. Let's just move on. It's not what you're thinking. 52 Tuesdays, which is an Aussie film. That was not too bad. And because one of our shorts this week, we're watching Skin. Guy Nativ actually created a movie length version, but the storyline is completely different.
I watched an old favourite of mine. I remember seeing it in the pictures with my dad, and we quite enjoyed it. Waterworld. It's not the greatest film,
Mm.
but it's different. There's nothing else quite like it, and you know, it's obviously, it was obviously a bastard to make, and it's got some good action scenes in there. Some of it hasn't aged very well, I must admit, but it's kind of fun. And there's this one scene in it where a dude talks about paper, and he just goes paper. But out of context, that just sounds like I'm a crazy person. So we'll probably cut that bit out. And then I watched a film called VFW, which was a recommendation to me, and it was an action film on Netflix. I think it had Stephen Lang in it, and it had a few sort of like older actors like William Sadler and Martin Cove, who was John Kreese from The Karate Kid. And it's like a stuck in a place action film, so they're just all stuck there, and then I've got to fight their way out, sort of thing. So it's pretty basic stuff, but super violent. Limbs were coming off and machetes were going in heads. It was the perfect Saturday night film. And that's it, feature-wise. I watched a couple of shorts after that. Two of yours, actually. Obviously, I watched the ones for the podcast, but I watched a couple of your honourable mentions from last week. Guess which ones I watched?
I wonder which ones. I guess Stuck would have been one of them. Marcy learned something new.
Yeah. I watched both of those, and I watched it. I watched Marcy Learn Something New first, which was all right.
It's not, yeah.
It was kind of amusing at the end. You know, it was kind of like, oh, all right. It was okay. But I really liked Stuck. I thought Stuck was really good. And that was, I mean, it started to get a little bit cheesy towards the end. The premise of it is quite amusing. And they were very good. The two people in it were very good. So I quite enjoyed that. I quite enjoyed that one. I thought that was quite good. That's everything that I've seen, mate. Shall we move on to the next section, the main part of the show?
Yes.
Which is section 2. It's the shorts bit. It's not a short bit, but it's going to be a bit about shorts. For
a short film to be considered a short, it cannot be any longer than 40 minutes. That's including credits as well.
So after, if a film's 41 minutes in, it's technically classed as a feature?
Apparently so. Short films are occasionally first stage for a new filmmaker, though pro actors and crew choose to create short films as an alternative form of expression. They also create them to create a plot to potential feature film as well. A bit of history behind shorts. So all films in the beginning of cinema were shorts, and they were maximum 1 minute, nothing longer. It was not until the 1910s that shorts became at least 10 minutes long.
Wow.
Yeah. In the 1930s, films were distributed a little bit differently in many countries. Instead of cinema owners assembling a program together, the studios would sell them packages, and it would be usually a feature with a short, or just mainly features in general. And then short films started to decline in that stage. And I guess the most recent nowadays, short films, like Pixar, for example, when they used to put a short with their feature. Do they still do that?
The last Pixar film I saw at the cinema was probably Toy Story 3, 10 years ago. So I don't know. That's
about it for short films.
Awesome. Well, thanks for that, mate. So should we get talking to our choices from last week then? All 9 of them.
Yeah.
I guess maybe we should just, because nobody knows what they are yet, do they? We should probably tell the listener what ones we've got.
So my list was The Third Kind, Acide, Skin, and Rebooted.
And my picks were Batman Dead End, Batman vs. Terminator, Marvel Zombies vs. Army in Darkness, and Ash vs. Lobo and the DC Dead, and the Death and Return of Superman. Right.
Mouthful.
That's what she said. Right.
Hey.
Okay, well, should we start, as this is your topic, mate, should we start with your list? What do you want to start with? Which one?
Let's start with Third Kind. So The Third Kind is about these 3 archaeologists that, so everyone on Earth has moved away from Earth, And these three archaeologists come back to Earth just to do a bit of research. So they come to this camp, the different camps within this airport.
Yeah.
And they come across a person at the end called Nuri, and they're like,
Nuri.
"Oh, why are you here? Why are you here?" kind of thing. And that's pretty much the premise of that short. What did you think of it?
Well, this one was 32 minutes long, this short. And I think the one thing that I will say is that I thought it dragged. The first maybe 15 minutes, I was sort of wondering where it was going and what was going to happen. And I think that they could have cut quite a lot of that down. But it was a nice build up to what they were going for or what the ending was. Yeah. I just feel that it could have been a lot shorter. The intention behind it was great. And I knew nothing about, obviously, I don't know I guess you're going to be talking about this, but I knew nothing about the setup of the location, shall we say.
Yeah.
So what was all that about, mate?
So that was an actual refugee camp in Greece, in Athens, at their old airport. So all the props and set dressing that is featured in this short, it was actually there. And the director came up with this idea, and they had to quickly shoot this short because it was about to be demolished. They shot it over 11 days in the Greece summertime.
Yeah.
This director, I watched another short of his called The Eighth Continent, which also was refugee based. It was like all of these life jackets put in this crater somewhere in Greece, but it was like a silent short. So he must have some passion behind this topic, I guess. I think he wants to create a movie lens version of this as well.
Yeah, so I quite like to see a full version of this. I think they could do something interesting with it, definitely. Okay, so that was Third Kind.
The next one, let's go with Acid.
Acide.
Just gonna constantly say that.
Yeah, that's my new catchphrase.
The short is about whenever it rains, it is acid rain. And everyone's just trying to get shelter before it rains, because if it rains on you, it burns you and kills you.
You be fucked.
So, you're dead.
Oh, you're
going so
down.
Dead. You're going down into the ground.
Taking you down to Chinatown. Acid.
I really like the first scene of this short.
Me too. I thought it was fucking brilliant.
Really well done.
I'm surprised that you picked it because it was quite gruesome.
Well, what does that mean?
Oh, I mean, you know what I mean. Like,
I'm not a softie.
I'm not saying you're I'm not accusing you of being soft, mate. I'm just accusing you of not being a massive fan of gore, which I think is fair to say, particularly after our Brain Dead review last week when we were talking. I mean, that is slightly more extreme. We were talking about pus going in prostate, I guess.
Oh, God. Let's
but I was
not talk about that.
I guess what I'm trying to say is I was pleasantly surprised when that first scene come on. I was like, yeah.
Yeah.
I really liked the way that that first scene set the. It told you what the danger was. Obviously, the acid rain.
Mm-hmm.
But then it cut to a family, didn't it? And they were basically trying to get away or get to safety. There was a young boy and a mother and a father. And what I was saying about that first scene is it set the tone, and I think it set a level of tension that they managed to keep up throughout the short. This one was about 20 minutes long, I think. I haven't written anything down, but off the top of my head, I think it was about 15, 20 minutes.
Something like that. 15, 20.
Yeah. But as soon as we were introduced to the family, they're running. The kid's got a motorcycle helmet on. You know what they're running away from. You know they're running from the acid rain. They're trying to get into this underground bunker, and they can't get in. But I thought it was great. I really enjoyed this one. I thought it was... relentless for me is my word for this film. It just kept up that tension and it just kept it up the whole way through. I thought it was great.
Brilliant. Next one. Let's leave Skin for last. Let's talk about Rebooted. So this was the animation short film that I came across. So it's about this this character Phil, who was a skeleton, and he used to be pretty. He was quite popular back in the day in the 60s, and now it's the present day, and he's struggling to find work. And you just see just the process of not only his character, because they use animation as well. There's like 2D animation, there's like CGI characters as well.
But it was very meta, this one. I enjoyed how meta it was about it. It's sort of commenting on the industry and, like you say, different special effects in the different eras, and kind of it touched on what the effects kind of are now as well. But it did it with it was comedy, wasn't it? It was quite funny.
Yeah.
And was there any dialogue in this?
No, this was a silent film.
Wasn't
it was
it?
just all just like I guess emotions.
Yeah.
Just like,
Yeah.
And did you see any behind the scenes stuff on this?
No.
Oh, dude. Yeah, I saw the behind the scenes of how they created this short. Screen Australia gave the director some funding, so it was like awesome. And they shot it at Docklands Studios, which I've worked at before, and where I studied was at Docklands. So it was kind of cool. It's like, oh yeah, I recognize these buildings and all of this. So it took them 6 months just to do the stop motion bit and how they shot it. So they obviously did the video first, and then there was a visual effects guy that did like all the measurements of like where the lighting was and measurements of all the rooms, and then they brought those measurements in for the stop motion guy, and they had to make a mini version of that. It was really cool to see how he made that.
There was one bit in it I really liked. I liked all just the when he was at the start, he's going to his auditions and he's getting rejected, and it goes through his day, and it's smash cutting from waking up to traveling on the transport and going to the auditions and stuff. I really liked all of that stuff. I thought it was very creative, very inventive. Enjoyable little film, and there was a T-1000 in it as well, so a little Terminator reference in there, which always goes down well with me, mate.
And the last one is Skin, which it was a bit impossible for me to get this short because the only place I could get it was on Apple. I had to buy it, but that's fine.
It was on Amazon here.
Yeah, for free, or you could?
Yeah, it was
you had
free,
to buy it.
No, it's free. Included with my Prime membership.
Oh. Aussies are always behind, as I've said numerous of times.
We only got the internet last year, didn't you?
Yeah. I'm still on dial-up now. So, backstory on this short. So it's white supremacist family. So a couple and a young boy. His name is Troy, and they're just redneck family. And he's out with his mates, shooting cans and all that. And then they head to the supermarket at the end of the day, and they're going through the checkout. And Troy, across from him is this black man, and he's got this little figurine in his hand, and he's just like playing around and trying to make him laugh, kind of thing. And Troy's enjoying it. And then his dad turns around and says, "Oh, what are you doing to my kid?" He's like, "Oh, just playing with the toy." Anyway, he walks out, and then next minute they all just jump onto him and they're kicking off. Troy and his dad, go for a little drive. And then on his way back home, it's blocked. His road is blocked off by a car. He's like, "Oh, one sec." So his dad goes out and then gets kidnapped by this gang, and they drive off. And he's unconscious. And then when he gets dropped off again to his house a little while later, he's been tattooed completely black. And his partner is hearing things in the back, and he walks in, and he's trying to tell her, he's like, "Oh, it's me, and then it ends with Troy using a gun and killing his dad. and it just ends like that.
I really liked the setup. Like when I say at the start of it, I didn't really know where it was going, but I found that to be completely necessary to the end of the story, because what they were showing was essentially the first 10 minutes was essentially they were showing the indoctrination of this child of Troy. You know, all of his friends and his family, they're all white supremacists and they're all racist as fuck. And but it shows that indoctrination. It doesn't shy away from that. It's like, look, this is how things, you know, this is how people's views are formed. It's their environment. So I like the way that they showed that. And then particularly at the end, when the boy shoots him, I just thought, yeah, that was a really well told story, I think. And I've never seen anything like it before, and I'll never forget it. I think it did exactly what it needed to do personally.
Shall we move on to your films?
Yeah, let's move on to mine then, shall we? So all of mine were superhero picks. I think we explained in great detail last week about my reasonings behind it, so I won't go into that. But the first one I picked was Batman Dead End. And that was written and directed by Sandy Cholera. And it starts off and it's Batman that's, we see Batman suiting up and he's in his grey spandex. And what we learn is that the Joker has escaped. Batman hunts him down to an alleyway. They're having this little conversation, a typical Joker-Batman conversation. You wear a mask. No, you wear a mask. Blah, 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 blah. Joker gets picked off by an alien out of nowhere, just gets picked up, and then Alien and Batman have a little bit of a scramble, and then the Predators come into it, and then Batman has a bit of a fight with a Predator. What I really enjoy about this one, and it's only a short one, it's this one was about 6 minutes.
Long?
Was it 8 minutes, was it? All right, well
I think
I should have written that down. 8 minutes, all right. Yeah, eight minutes long. What I really liked about it is the theme was kind of the Batman. It was stealing elements of the Danny Elfman theme from '89 Batman. When the aliens were introduced, it took on the James Horner score from Aliens. And then when the Predators came in, it had the Alan Silvestri score. And that's how it ended with the Alan Silvestri stuff. So 3 of the most, for me, iconic movie themed scores that have ever been made, in my opinion. And it just, you fuse them all really well. That's probably the main reason why I enjoy this. I mean, aside from seeing Batman square up to a Predator, which is something I've always wanted to see. Yeah, it's the music in this that really makes it for me, mate. I enjoy watching this one. It's a nice, easy little watch for me, mate. What did you think of this one?
I don't know. I'm not saying that I don't watch. I don't watch a lot of Marvel or. Oh no, this is more DC.
Well, it's DC, but yeah.
Yeah. Shut up, Nicole.
All right. Let's move on. Let's move on.
Yeah, it wasn't too bad.
It's a bit of fun.
It wasn't too bad. I mean, yeah. It was quite short and simple.
I think that's probably the running thing with all of my picks is they're a bit of fun. Which, to be honest, I probably need it after watching a couple of yours, mate. I pretty needed a bit of light relief. But I really enjoyed it. So my next one was Batman versus Terminator. And this is a 6-minute short written and directed by Captain McKay. So this is a stop motion. The opening titles are very much an homage to Terminator 1, where you've got the sort of the Terminator title scrolling past the screen, and slowly it's sort of zooming out to reveal the title. That's nicked directly from Terminator 1. They use the Tumbler, and Batman basically has to infiltrate Cyberdyne systems, and as he infiltrates the lab, and he's got to destroy Skynet, Cyberdyne basically, and he's just having a bit of a fight with a Terminator. That's all it is, really. There's about a 4-minute sequence where they're having a fist fight, Batman and the Terminator. And I enjoy it. I think that fist fight goes on for a bit too long, to be honest with you. But it's all right. What did you think? This one I mentioned before, this is stop motion. What did you think of the stop motion in this?
It's not too bad. I saw a few of his other stop motions, and because is it Captain McKay?
I think that's how you pronounce it. Yeah.
Yeah, he does. His YouTube channel is a lot of either Marvel characters, or I think most of his recent stuff is more wrestling characters.
Right.
I mean, it wasn't too bad. Is it related to the films in general? It's been a long time since I've seen Terminator. I need to rewatch them, I think.
I agree with you, but it's basically it's a lot of film references. I mentioned the Tumbler from The Dark Knight. I mentioned the Brad Fiedel score from Terminator. They had the Terminator that was in the lab. That was a likeness of Arnold Schwarzenegger. There was a lot of references in there. Right, so my next one was where I picked two shorts, but we count them as one because one's a sequel to the other. So the first one was Marvel Zombies versus Army of Darkness, and this was 9 minutes long. It was written and directed by Brian K. Rosenthal. Another writer was Eli David. I love saying Rosenthal for some reason. Rosenthal is a very satisfying word to say, I think, just because of the TH. Anyway, I like Rosenthal. I'm going to say it one more time, Rosenthal. I really liked the opening of this. It's very Dark Knight-esque. I don't know if you've seen that recently, but the opening sort of scene in Dark Knight has got sort of swooping shots of the city with like the string music. So I really enjoyed that sort of fanboying out on that part. And then it cuts to, we see Peter Parker with Gwen Stacy. And she finds out that he's Spider-Man. He gets bitten by a zombie Wolverine who regenerates. And then Spider-Man becomes a zombie, and then Ash comes into it from Evil Dead. And have you seen the Evil Dead films?
No. I need to watch. I know. I've got like massive horror gore hole in my movie section.
Well, there's yeah. I mean, the only reason I mention it is because the guy that plays Ash in this was pretty spot on as Ash. Like that's pretty much the Ash from the Evil Dead series. But yeah, there was a lot of jokes in this that were referencing Army of Darkness, particularly the second part of this. Again, it was basically just to appease the fans. So there was a part in it where Ash is fighting with Wolverine and she throws the Iron Man glove and he jumps up and he catches the Iron Man glove. And in the Evil Dead films, that's a chainsaw, which is why he kept getting a chainsaw. So it's quite good that they changed it up and they made it the Iron Man glove, and they put the AC/DC track on in the background as well. It's just a bit of fun.
I quite enjoyed these two shorts together.
Did you?
I'll admit. Yeah. Gwen's character annoyed me a little bit the first time round, but the second time round, not so much.
I think they did a bit of disservice to that character in the first one, to be honest with you. Like when it got to the end, she was like cowering around it because she started off like quite a strong character. And then by the end of it, she was, for some reason, she was hugging Ash's legs. I was like, what's this about?
Like, oh, save me.
Yeah, exactly. But in the next one, they kind of rectified that a little bit. I didn't love where they went with the next one at the end, but they did. I think they did a little bit better with that character. So the second part was Ash versus Lobo in the DC Dead. So the first one is about the Marvel zombies. The second one, they get transported, and they use the plot device from the Evil Dead series where they go through a portal. And in the films, he sort of travels through time. But in this one, he's gone to the DC universe. And so there's a couple of heroes in this. So you've got Green Arrow, Green Lantern, Lobo, and Batman getting his face ripped off, which is quite entertaining to watch. But again, this was directed by Brian K. Rosenthal. And as we say, yeah, they go into the DC universe and they land in an alleyway. Oh, God, why do they always have a sound effect of a cat when they're sort of... That seems to be the comedy sound effect to go to, like when someone falls down, you always get a... Meow. I don't know why, it's always a cat. Do you know what I mean? Anyway.
I'll notice that more now that you've said that.
But yeah, again, it's just a bit of fun. The fighting between Ash and Lobo was quite funny, particularly where Ash picks up the car door and he's sort of smashing Lobo with it, and then he does up the window. They had what I was saying is they referenced Army of Darkness jokes. So when the Green Lantern was talking about his oath, and Ash was going, oh yeah, blackest day, darkest night, blah, 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 blah.
Yeah.
That is a joke directly from Army of Darkness when he's supposed to be repeating these words. But yeah, so Green Lantern dies and the magic ring, Ash tries to nick it, but it turns out that Gwen was the one that got chosen, and she turns into the Green Lantern, which was great. And then I was sort of expecting or hoping for, and I sort of get why they didn't do it, because Green Lantern is a very special effects heavy character. Like if you were to make a feature film of it, and they did try with Ryan Reynolds, but we won't talk about that. I spoke about that in a Stitch Up once.
Yeah. Oh yeah, that's right. You did get stitched up. Thank God I don't have to watch it.
Yeah, it's pretty. It's not. I mean, it's not terrible in terms of Stitch Up films. Terrible. But it's pretty painful.
Not the best.
No, it's not the best. But I really liked that they went down the Gwen Stacy Green Lantern route, but I was disappointed that we didn't get to see more of that. But what I was saying is I kind of understand why, because there's a lot of special effects that would be necessary to do that part, I guess. Maybe they just ran out of money. So what they did in the end is they just all cut to a strip club. But yeah, so that was my two. I've got one more left to go.
Yeah.
Which was the death and return of Superman. Spoilers. I think this was my least favourite one out of all of our shorts. I found this fucking annoying, actually. To be honest with you, I found it bloody irritating.
100% agree.
But it's a 17-minute short, and it was directed and written by Max Landis. And it was a bit of a sort of cynical poke at that Superman run, the death and return of Superman. It's told in two parts, the first part being the death, the second part being the return. And it's just basically Max Landis sitting there telling everyone what he does and doesn't like, or mostly what he doesn't like about the comic. And I found it a bit fucking annoying because it was just him saying all of his opinions. God forbid someone should just say all their opinions on a piece of media, mate. Well, I don't know why anyone would find that interesting.
Apparently, it originally went for 45 minutes.
No way, did it?
Yeah.
No way could I have sat through that. I mean, there were some celebrity appearances in this. You mentioned Elijah Wood. There was an appearance by Simon Pegg. Also, Ron Howard was at the end as well. I guess
Moore? That's she was the chick that played. She was like the reporter / Superman's girlfriend.
Is she a celebrity? Is she?
Yeah. She was in A Walk to Remember. That's romantic.
Never heard of it.
Stitch up.
I don't know. What did you think? What annoyed you about this one then?
Just his fucking ranting on about the first time I watched. I mean, the second time I watched it, it didn't bother me as much. But like the first time I watched it, I was like, oh, this is okay. Get to the point.
Yeah.
And then there was the funny bits, with Elijah Wood, and then also like the fighting scenes and all that kind of stuff. Like they were pretty comical, but yeah, just him ranting did my absolute head in.
Yeah.
If they could have done it without his commentary, might have been a lot better. I wonder how they would have done it though.
Yeah, I don't know. I didn't enjoy this one. Got nothing much else to say about this one, mate. To be honest, I thought it was a bit crap.
Toilet.
It was toilet. So we've run down all of our shorts now. I don't know about you. Yeah. I've ranked yours and I've ranked mine. Okay, this is what I'm going to do then. So I'm going to go through yours and I'm going to tell you my least favourite up to my favourite. My least favourite of yours in fourth spot was The Third Kind. My third favourite was Rebooted. Really enjoyed the animation in this and some of the sound effects. But the other two of yours I really liked. So I really liked Acid, which is in my second spot. For the tension and the things that I mentioned earlier. My favourite was Skin. I thought Skin was, because it was just so creative and so inventive. I've never seen anything like it. And when I thought it was going one way, it went somewhere completely different. And all of that stuff at the start just paid off for me massively at the end. So Skin was my favourite one of yours.
Great. I would almost be the same as yours, but I would swap Rebooted and Acid around. So Third Kind fourth, Acid third, Rebooted second, and Skin first.
Right, so I'm gonna rank my ones now. I think it's pretty obvious that my least favourite of mine was in fifth spot was The Death and Return of Superman. It was pretty hard to get through, to be honest. In fourth spot is Ash versus Lobo. I think it went on a little bit too long, and that ending just ruined it for me a little bit. In third spot is Batman v Terminator. In second spot is Batman Dead End. And the first spot is Marvel Zombies versus Army of Darkness. I do enjoy watching that, and I do watch it have watched it quite a few times. And Batman in second spot because of that score. And I think that's something I'm going to be able to just watch over and over again. It's quite easy to digest. So
Death and Return of Superman, also number 5. Batman v Terminator, I put that for number 4. Batman Dead End is number 3.
Mm.
Ash and Lobo for number 2, and Marvel Zombies for number 1.
Brilliant. Good choice, mate. Really enjoyed this one. Shall we move on to the second part of section 2 then, where we've got to pick our theme for next week, and we're kind of back to tradition next week, a traditional old Twin Picks topic. It was my pick, and we were talking about a few weeks ago about doing Aussie v Brits. So I've got 3 British films. Shall I give you my picks as it's my theme? The rule is that the chooser goes first, don't they?
Yes.
Okay. My first pick, Love, Honour and Obey. My second pick is 24-Hour Party People. And my third pick, 1917. The reason I chose 1917, right, is that I've got some honourable mentions, which I'll go through afterwards. But I had one, and then it suddenly occurred to me about 1917. I love this film. I saw it with you guys, and then I saw it again because I loved it that much. And then my mum bought me the Blu-ray for my birthday, and I've not watched it yet. So it's been my intention to get my surround sound up and running and put that on. So that's why it's on my list. So what have you got, mate?
I try to choose different genres for my films. So okay. So number 1 is Two Hands. Number 2 is Snowtown, and number 3 is The Dressmaker.
All right, so to recap then, I've chosen Love, Honour and Obey, 24-Hour Party People and 1917. You have chosen Two Hands, Snowtown and The Dressmaker. I've never heard of any of yours, so I'm just going to knock them out. I'm going to gamble. I'm just going to knock one out without knowing anything about it.
Okay.
That's part of the fun. I want to knock out The Dressmaker.
Oh, I knew you were going to do that. You would have knocked it out anyway.
No, listen.
It's a romance, mate.
Is it? Is it a romance?
Yeah.
For once, my gut feeling fucking serves me well. Yes.
It's really good, though. It's a really good... it's one of those movies that... You know how last week we were talking about American Psycho, and then it plays with your head a little bit. This movie does that. Throughout the film, you're just like, you think it's going one way and then it goes the next way. It's really good. Kate Winslet's in it and Liam Hemsworth.
Well, it's gone now, and I'll probably watch it in 10,000 years when I get around to it.
Stitch Up. No, it's too good for Stitch Up.
Right, what are you going to knock out of mine, mate?
I'm going to get rid of Love, Honour and Obey. Is that a bad decision?
Love, Honour and Obey is a very silly film. It's a very silly film about gangsters. I think I might have put it on a list for you guys to watch actually last year.
You did. I still haven't watched it.
Listen, it ain't going to change your life. It's a bit silly. It's got Ray Winston in it. It's about gangsters. Johnny Lee Miller, Jude Law, Sadie Frost. To recap, what we got left now is, in my list, 24-Hour Party People and 1917. In yours remains is Two Hands and Snowtown. So 24-Hour Party People, directed by Michael Winterbottom, as I said earlier, came out in 2002. I own this on DVD. It's a great film. It's one of my favourite British films. I haven't seen it for a long time. It's almost 2 hours long, 117 minutes. The synopsis is very short and sweet. There's a tagline on Letterboxd and it says, "Share the ecstasy." The synopsis is, in 1976, Tony Wilson sets up Factory Records and brings Manchester's music to the world. So, I was right. So it starts in the 70s then. And basically what it is Tony Wilson was like a news reporter guy, but he was very much plugged into the music scene of the mid to late 70s. And he kind of worked with the likes of Joy Division, who later on became New Order. And it's got a lot of that 80s music in it. Joy Division have made my favourite ever 80s song, which is Love Will Tear Us Apart, and that's how I discovered this song. That song is through this film, and it's about that Manchester music scene. There's a club in Manchester in the 80s called the Hacienda, and it's very much about the rise, and I can't remember if it covers the fall of it, but it's very much about the rise of the Hacienda and that music movement. But it's a good drama about that period in the music industry, and it's funny. It's Steve Coogan. 1917. We don't often do recent films on our picks, but I picked this one because it was my I mean, if it did come out this year, it might still be my favourite of this year that I've seen.
In cinema or just in general?
I think in general, but mind you, there's not a lot come out really, has there?
Mm.
It's about two soldiers that are travelling from point A to point B. And it's, I guess the main point of this film is it's a single take, and it just follows these two guys as they're moving through the war zone. It's just about their journey, and it's very much about the technique in this. I always say that music for me is a big thing in a film, and I fucking love the score of this film.
The score on this is phenomenal.
One of the main reasons I like it, and all the technical stuff with a single take, proper nerding out stuff. I love it, and it's Roger Deakins on cinematography duty, and I mean, you can't go wrong with a Deakins film, can you? And Sam Mendes obviously directing, so I mean, it's just a combination of so much talent, and I just watch it and it kind of blows me away, to be honest. And they're my picks. Tell me about yours, mate.
Two Hands, directed by Gregor Jordan. It was shot. It came out in 1999. And the synopsis is, a 19-year-old finds himself in debt to a local gangster when some gang loot disappears and sets him on a run for thugs. Meanwhile, two street kids start a shopping spree when they find the missing money. It's one of Heath Ledger's first films.
Oh, Heath Ledger.
Yeah.
And when did you say? 1999?
1999.
Well, I can't remember when 10 Things I Hate About You came out, but it's around about that same sort of time, I guess. But I guess this was probably before that.
Yeah, I feel like it would be early 2000s.
Yeah.
About You. That's a good film. Did you like that?
It's all right. Yeah, I don't mind it. I don't
That's
mind
romantic.
it. Yeah, I know. I don't love it. It's all right. I think it's probably because Heath Ledger and Gordon Levitt. All right, so Two Hands then. Teenager, debt, gangsters, Heath Ledger, 1999.
Yeah.
Why did you choose this one?
It's just like Aussie classic. It's one of those Aussie classics, I have to say. And it comes on Aussie TV every year. That's why I chose this film.
Okay.
Snowtown, directed by Justin Kurzel. Hopefully I said that right. It came out 2011, and the tagline is Australia's most infamous crime story. And the synopsis is, based on true stories, a 16-year-old Jamie falls in with his mother's new boyfriend and his crowd, a relationship that leads to a spree of torture and murder. Do you have any questions about my films?
I don't. I know where I'm going with yours, mate. I know which one I'm choosing.
Okay. You go first then.
One thing I'll say is that there seems to be a lot of crime themes in Australian films, isn't there?
And that's the thing, like, that's why I'll talk about my honorable mentions in a sec, but
All
it's like a few of them that I could have chosen instead of Dressmaker, a lot of crime-based ones, and I was just like, no, I can't do all of them that way. That's why I went Dressmaker.
All right,
you didn't
cool.
like that.
No, well, romance. Listen, I think you probably know which way I'm going to go. I'm going to knock out Snowtown because I want to see
Good.
I want to see Heath Ledger's first film, mate.
Yes, I
want to watch
so
Two
happy.
Hands. We're going to leave in Two Hands, and I'm knocking out Snowtown. 24-Hour Party People or 1917. What do you fancy this week, mate?
Maybe because you know me, I always want to learn about a different film, and I've watched 1917. It's brilliant. I love it. It's such a good movie. Could watch it over and over again, but I'm going to knock it out and go 20-Hour Party People.
24-Hour Party People. Awesome. So,
Sweet.
Brits versus Aussies. Next episode, we're going to be doing 24-Hour Party People versus Two Hands, and it's going to be a fight to the death. You're going to be throwing capsicums at me. I'm going to be throwing crisps at you.
Aubergines. Aubergines and eggplants. It's the same thing, mate.
Is it?
Probably,
oh, that's why I didn't get that joke.
we call eggplants. We call aubergines eggplants here.
Noted. I learned so much about Australian culture. And it's the beauty of this podcast, mate. It's great. All right. I've got a few honourable mentions. Have you got any?
Oh yeah, I forgot about that bit.
Oh, shall I do mine?
Wait. Yes, do yours first, please.
Right, so I've got a few. So I said earlier that before I picked 1917, I had another one in its spot. Monty Python and the Holy Grail. That was going to be my original third pick. And I probably watch this once a year. I love it. It's one of my favourites. I think it's fucking hilarious. So my next pick was Super Bob, and that was written and stars a gentleman what is called Brett Goldstein, and he has a movie podcast. Actually, I'd recommend listening to that one. It's quite a good listen. Next one, bit obvious, but because I was considering picking this, Shaun of the Dead. It's one of my all-time favourites. Have you seen this?
No.
For fuck's sake, you got some
Let's do it. Let's do it. Let's do a horror double bill soon.
Well, I'll find a way to get it on. Maybe Simon Pegg or something.
Cool.
My next one was Four Lions, which is a comedy about terrorists. Next one was In the Loop, which is based on a British TV show called The Thick of It, and it's kind of a mockumentary about British politics and taking the piss out of it, basically. And that's an Armando Iannucci thing. I'm a big fan of his.
Cool.
So I've got 3 more to go. I've got 28 Days Later, which obviously is a Danny Boyle film. Do enjoy me some 28 Days Later. It might come up in another episode at some point. So
Is that zombie?
It's zombie. It's
No.
zombie. My next pick is Sexy Beast, which is a British gangster crime film which stars Ray Winston and Ben Kingsley, and it's great. It's great. If you don't fancy watching it, I would say go on YouTube and just type in Sexy Beast Ben Kingsley, Sexy Beast Don Logan. Watch his scenes and then see if you want to watch the rest of it. Fucking hilarious.
Okay.
My last pick, Lock, Stock and Two Smoking Barrels. I would say this is one of the films that probably got me into films in a big way. I mean, I was already quite obsessed with films when I was younger, but when I saw this, my mates and I, we picked up our video camera and we started to recreate scenes from Lock, Stock and Two Smoking Barrels, which, incidentally, you're never going to see them. I still own them, but you're never going to see them because it's horrendous.
Is this your shorts that you've done on VHS?
No, that's different. I've got another short which I made at college, but this is one that we just made. Me and my mates just made for fun. It's pretty bad, but Lock, Stock, Two Smoking Barrels. That was my last honourable mention. What have you got?
I've got a few. December Boys was one of them. Ballyball was another one. Lantana, Ned Kelly, which we kind of briefly spoke about a couple of weeks ago.
Yeah.
Samson and Delilah, Indigenous film, as well as Walkabout. Apparently that's quite good. Indigenous as well. The Mule was my last pick, but we spoke about The Mule when I was guest on your show back in episode 15, and I didn't want to choose films that we've chosen in the past, so that's why I didn't choose it.
Fair enough. I think on that one we had, what did we have? Wolf Creek, Mule, Animal Kingdom, which I'm a big fan of Animal Kingdom. Not so much Wolf Creek. I wasn't a fan of that one at all. But
I think that Wolf Creek 2 is a lot better. I haven't seen the first one, but the second one is, I've seen it and it's not that bad.
Oh, I'll bear that in mind.
It's quite gory, and they were my honourable mentions.
Awesome. Okay, so for the next episode then, British v Oz, 24-hour party people versus Two Hands. And I'm saying versus because it is versus. It's a versus episode. There's going to be a bit of conflict and maybe some, I don't know, we'll do a virtual arm wrestle or something. We'll think of something. Tiddlywinks. We'll have a Tiddlywink showdown.
Tiddlywinks? What's that?
What do you mean, what's that? Tiddlywinks. You know, when you've got the little plastic counter and you press it down with another counter and you flip it so it goes... You've never played Tiddlywinks?
No.
Oh. It's what I used to play before marbles came out.
Okay. Oh, marbles.
Did you have Pogs?
What?
Pogs. Are you familiar with Pogs?
No, I know what marbles are.
Do you know what? I've just had an idea. You know, when we pick our topics, we pick our themes, and we've been doing a little intro about it. I think I'm gonna talk about English kids games like Pogs
All
and
right.
marbles. I don't know why. I just had that thought.
Am I talking about Aussie stuff?
Well, you can if you want, mate. I'm just going to tell you about all
It's
my
your topic.
culture. I'm just trying to delay moving on to the next section. That's all it is.
All
right, let's do it then. So, section 3. Section 3 is Stitch Up, and I lost the poll last time, and I had to watch Bride and Prejudice, which is a film.
Which is a great film.
No, it's not. Spoilers. Right, so Bride and Prejudice. So I'm going to read you the synopsis here, right? So 5 sisters in the 19th century England must cope with pressures to marry while protecting themselves from a growing population of zombies.
Get out.
What?
Hold on a second. What did you watch?
Right. Yes, Pride and Prejudice and Zombies.
Bride and Prejudice.
Oh, I've got Pride and Prejudice and Zombies here.
No, mate.
Was I meant to watch the other one? Was I? Because you see what? Listen, let me give you a bit of backstory. I'm being a little bit sneaky here, mate. So when I sat down to watch Bride and Prejudice, I looked it up. Guess how long it was?
No, it's not.
2 hours and 2 minutes.
Get out.
And what's the one rule we have on Stitch Up?
No, mate.
What's the one rule?
You can't do that. By 2 minutes. Are you really going to do that? You're making me so angry. It says 111 minutes on Letterboxd.
Oh, does it? So if you go on Amazon, it says 2 hours, 2 minutes.
That's probably including credits.
Oh, who knows? There's different cuts of the films, but on my one, it said 2 hours, 2 minutes, which exceeds the 2 hour limit for Stitch Up, I do believe. So what I did is I watched Pride and Prejudice and Zombies instead.
No, mate, that does not include. That's not.
So Pride and Prejudice and Zombies. Listen, there's a twist coming up here, mate. Pride and Prejudice and Zombies is total fucking garbage. I made it 42 minutes in, switched it off, and put on Bride and Prejudice.
Good.
So I did it.
You pissed me off.
I knew it was going to piss you off. Honestly, like my plan for the whole week was to watch Pride and Prejudice and Zombies. Yeah, it was reverse Stitch Up. Reversed it. I could have played that card. I could have done it. But it was, to be honest, it's only because the Zombies version was total rubbish that I sort of decided to go for the other one. And I thought maybe it might be an improvement, but it wasn't an improvement. They did a lot of things in song. So I guess I better get serious now and tell you about the actual film that I watched.
Go on.
Bride and Prejudice, 2 hours and 2 minutes long. IMDb.
According to Wikipedia, 111 minutes.
IMDb says 2 hours, 2 minutes. 2004. So, believe it or not, this is a modern adaptation of Jane Austen's classic novel, Pride and Prejudice. Saeed from Lost is in it for a bit. I don't know if you ever caught Lost, but he's in it. So he was in pretty much the first scene. I thought, oh, all right. There's a dude in it, what was in EastEnders. I don't know his real name, I'm ashamed to say, but his name in EastEnders was Masood. I once walked past him once in Leicester Square. True story. So, I mean, Pride and Prejudice. I mean, I've seen it all before. It's a story. Man fancies woman. Woman fancies man. Maybe it's inappropriate. Maybe it's an inappropriate relationship. Maybe there's some resistance. Let's sing a song about the resistance. Maybe there's a bit of struggle. Let's sing a song about the struggle. And it's just basically song. The songs are very cheesy in this. The first song that they played was after about 6 minutes, right? And I wrote down a lyric because it made me laugh. The lyric goes like this, and it's the boys are singing a song to the girls, and they're doing their dancing. One thing, choreography was pretty good, and I guess that's a basic really in a film like this. The choreography's got to be on point. Unless I don't know anything about dance or choreography, but they moved their limbs around very well, and it was very, very nice to look at.
They pat the dog and put the light bulb on really well.
Yeah, someone said that in the film. Someone said, "Is that a thing?"
That's how you dance. The way of dancing Bollywood dancing is you're turning the light bulb and you're patting the dog. Brilliant. And that's you guys can't see it, but I'm showing Dan how it looks like.
But yeah, so like I was saying, that they were doing a song. It's like, as with any musical, I guess, is they have a bit of a talk about what they're thinking and feeling, and then they sing a song about it. I can't really get invested in musicals because for some reason, just the telling a story in song, which is surprising really, but I just don't find it very appealing. Yeah, so one of the first lyrics was, "Ooh, these girls are sharp as knives. They move too fast for us to grab." I thought it was very, very odd. Yeah. It was very odd. I think that's as bad as it got, to be honest with you. But it just made me laugh that was in the first song. I in order to get through this a little bit quicker, I watched it at 1.5 speed, and I will say that quite a lot of the dancing in this was already quite fast paced, and so watching it at 1.5, it was pretty crazy. It was like, I don't know, I was knackered by the end of it. It was an onslaught of dance moves and lyrics, and people just waving their arms about, and it was. Like I said, the choreography was I only use the term enjoyable. It'd be wrong of me to say that because it's not my thing, but I appreciated it, I guess is the term I'm looking for. But the love story, I mean, you can fuck off with that, mate. It's Mr. Darcy loves Lolita, I think her name was, and she's meant to be marrying a dude, but really the other two want to get married, and then there's fist fight. And I mean, what can I say? What can I say? It's been done a million times. To be fair, I've never watched a version of Pride and Prejudice, and now I've seen two, or one and a half. Listen, I don't want to bash this film too much because a few people have said to me that it's all right, and maybe it is all right, but it's just not for me, mate. So I'm going to cut it short because it's just going to be a bunch of me saying, I don't like musicals, I don't like singing, I don't like dancing. And how many times can I say that? I don't want to keep bashing it. I don't want to keep bashing the film. So I'll just leave it at that. Singing, dancing, not my thing, mate. I'm going to rate this film. I'm going to rate it 1 star.
Wow. Holy shit.
For the choreography, it was played quite absurd in some places, but I found it to be over the top, cheesy. The songs were very fucking cheesy in places, and it's just not my cup of tea. This couldn't be any further from what I would consider a piece of entertainment. I don't want to be that harsh to it, but I really can't think of anything else that I liked about it. I liked the fact that I got through it in half the time because I watched it at 1.5, but that's really got nothing to do with the film. It's just more my viewing experience.
Because it had to be under 2 hours.
Yes. Right. I'm done. Pride and Prejudice, mate. Thank you very much. Goodbye. That was an odd review. I sort of was a bit naughty with that one, wasn't I? But, I watched half of another one.
I will do the same with next week's review.
If you lose. I have
a feeling I've lost.
No, you don't know. You don't know that, mate. You don't know what happened in the period. So, next poll then. It was my turn to put the poll on. And what we chose was, you chose for me, Zoltan, Hound of Dracula. And I chose for you, A Talking Cat. As is tradition with my polls, I forgot to put it on until last night. So
very late.
Yeah, very late. I think you were probably in a land of slumber when I put this on, I would say, which might work out well for me. I don't know, but I'm always a little bit worried because I put the poll on, and if it goes on, and I know that all you lot over in the other side of the world are all sleeping, I know that when I wake up, there's a good chance that the poll would change somewhat. But
Mm.
I put this poll on. We had 20 votes in total. I didn't vote till this morning because I wanted to see how it was going. The first vote was against me, so it's 1-0, and I thought, oh, here we go. And then vote 2, vote 3, vote 4, vote 4, 5, vote 6, vote 7. All for Nicole. Got to like about 9-1, 9-2. Then I see that you woke up and then you voted and it went to like 9-3. The final result of Zoltan versus a Talking Cat, 15 votes say that
Okay.
Nicole should watch a Talking Cat.
I did a sneaky, and I went on to I did like a close friends. I was like, oh, I'll see if I can maybe get some people on my side. And then I looked at the votes. I'm like, well, this is gonna do fucking nothing. So I just deleted the post anyway.
Oh, good. It's good, mate. It's good.
And you're so mean, dude. You can't
Why?
just fucking put arrows on yours. No, never do that with yours.
I didn't say that you can't do that. Well, listen, influence has always been a part of Stitch Up. From day one, you can influence. You can't cheat. We've got one vote each where we can vote for each other and then you can influence. It just makes it a bit more interesting, I think, doesn't it?
Okay.
Was you annoyed with that? Were you? I've done it before.
What? Done what? Voted twice?
No, I've tried to like direct people to vote for you. I didn't
Yeah.
vote twice. I voted once. I never
know
vote
you
twice because I've forgotten to log into my other Instagram. That's the main reason.
All right. I'm watching a talking cat. I told you during the week I put the trailer on and I had to switch it off because it does look shit.
Yeah, but like bad in the room kind of way, I would say. Might be quite funny to watch. Okay, so you're going to be watching our Talking Cat. Brilliant. Next poll. You got one in mind?
You can go first, mate. I've gone first for the past 3 goes, so.
Well, I didn't realise until this morning, mate, that a talking cat
You
sort of started a bit of a franchise, mate. I think this did because there's another film called A Talking Pony, which is what I'm choosing for you, mate. A Talking Pony,
brilliant.
and hopefully it is a load of pony.
Okay. You are getting very sneaky on this Stitch Up.
Listen. I thought I was being kind because you watch Brain Dead and that's pretty gorific. Is that a word? Gorific? I'm fucking taking it if it ain't. It was gorific. It must exist. Someone's coined that before. If not, I'm having it. Trademark, Dan. Yeah, so I had purposely haven't chosen a horror for you. I may return to horror next week, but I wanted to give you a couple of weeks off of horror. So in my mind, I was trying to be nice to you, mate.
Okay, that's fine. I'm just gonna go with how I was gonna go. So I'm gonna be. I shouldn't be nice to you, but I'm gonna be nice to you. I'm gonna give you an option.
Oh. Okay, this is interesting.
This is your 2 choices, mate, and I'm not giving you the titles. I'm giving you the option of which way you want to go.
Okay.
So the choice is either romance or inspired by Radio Gore Press's previous episode. What do you want to go for?
Inspired by Radio Gore Press's last episode.
This one you're going for?
I'm just trying to work out in my head what I think that is. I think I know what that is, mate. So romance. I mean, listen, you've sort of forced me into a corner, really, haven't you? When am I ever going to choose romance? Can you give me any more hints? What is it? A romance stroke horror? Is it a romance stroke sci-fi? Is it a romance stroke anything else that's infinitely more interesting than standalone romance?
I'm not giving you.
All right. Well, listen. Give me the Gore Press one. I'll have that one.
All right. I'm very happy with that.
I know what it is, mate. I know what it is. Go on, hit me.
You honestly don't know what it is. Well, actually, guess what it is, because I want to hear what you think it is.
Well, it's Return of the Living Dead 5, isn't it?
No.
No? Oh shit. Oh shit.
You chose the worst option out of the two.
What is it? What is it? I'm fucking intrigued now. Oh, go on. Put me out my
So this
misery.
week, I listened to it was Sarah and Rosie on the podcast this week, and
Yeah.
they mentioned about Furbies, long Furbies. And I was
Yeah.
like, "Is this a film?" And it's an actual toy. They look freaking hilarious. And then I was like, "Is there a Furby film?"
What? Is there a Furby film?
There's a few actually.
Oh, brilliant.
So
What's
I
it called?
chose Furby Island for you, mate.
Furby Island. I had no
Yep.
idea they made films about Furbies.
It's quite
Alright.
short, I have to say. So if you do lose next week, it won't be too painful in length.
You were just giving me a hard time about being sneaky on the stitch up, and you've been very sneaky to me on more than one occasion. So I think I was well within my rights to be a little bit sneaky back. I think you're ahead on the sneaky scale now, mate. I think I've got to do some sneakiness to match your sneakiness. You're very sneaky because you were trying to make me think that you were going to go for Return of the Living Dead 5. That's what you wanted me to think, wasn't it?
Maybe. I mean, the romance, it might come up on a different day.
I'm sure it will.
But if you did choose the romance, I feel like everyone would have gone for my film anyway. So, A Talking Pony, was it?
Yeah.
Fucking
Yeah,
mate.
talking pony. We're getting very competitive in this section, aren't we? I mean, it's because we've been locked up for so long. We're taking the aggression out on each other. We did another episode. We got through it. So next time we're going to be doing British v Australian films,
or Australia versus British films, however you like to.
Yeah, I mean, you could do it any way round, really, but the right way is to say British first. So we're doing 24-hour party people in two hands, and you're going to be watching A Talking Cat. The poll is going to be A Talking Pony, A Talking Pony versus Furby Island. And that's going on your poll this time, isn't it? So that'll be on your poll tomorrow or right now. So head over to your Instagram to vote on that. Speaking of which, what are your sign-offs? What are your
my
handles,
socials?
mate?
My socials are Nika Creative or Chica Nika on Instagram. If you want to more information about shorts, you can go to nikacreative.com and there'll be an article on all the shorts that we've mentioned over the past 2 episodes as well.
Awesome. Are you going to have some links on there as well?
Yeah, if you just click on the actual name of the title of the film, it'll take you straight to the YouTube link.
Oh, very efficient. Clickety click. I like it. Are you going to have clicky sound effects? Oh, yeah, good. I like it. I look forward to. I always do this. I look forward to. Stop laughing. We've got to do the sign off bit now. It's the coffee. It's when I have too much coffee, I just start talking fucking absolute nonsense. I'm looking forward to your blog because I know that Film Foods was asking after a list of the short films as well. So it'd be nice to have a little place to go and check them out. And head over to your Instagram for the poll to vote for A Talking Pony for Nicole to watch A Talking Pony. If you want to catch up with me, if you want to catch up with me, I'm on Instagram at flick.face, Twitter or flick_face. Email the show at twinpixpod@gmail.com. Give us ideas for themes or stitch-ups. Stitch-ups are always welcome for Nicole only.
Especially for Dan.
That's it. We've done it. Should we go? Because someone's coming around to view my flat shortly, and I need to get it cleaned up and open the windows and get rid of that man smell.
I better get on to the Concorde and get to your place then.
Oh, is it you visit? Are you going to buy it? Are you?
Yep.
I'll take cash only. I will take Tim Tams. I will trade Tim Tams for it.
All right, done. Well, if it's Tim Tams, sorted.
All right. I want 5 billion Tim Tams. I don't know how big a suitcase is.
you get sick of Tim Tams by that point, I think.
I don't know. I don't know. I think I'll get through the first billion quite easily. I think.
Maybe I'll switch Tim Tams for penguins.
No,
You
don't
won't
do that.
notice.
No, Tim Tams, I must say, if we're going down the Oz v Brits route, I think Oz have smashed it with the Tim Tams. Penguins are not a patch on Tim Tams, are they? Like I had penguins, and when I tried a Tim Tam, I was like, wow, I'll never going back to penguins again.
Yeah.
It's a whole new world. We're done.
Anyway.
Shall we go?
We're done.
We're done.
Yeah.
So if you've made it this far, thank you very much for listening, and we'll catch up with you all next week. Bye.
Bye. Chuck
Bye.
Norris. Bye.
Bye, Chuck Norris. Bye, Chuck Norris. Do you think he's listening? He's probably not listening, is he? Imagine
It
if
would be
he
great.
does
We should get him as a guest.
We should try. He's definitely going to say no.